Hi everyone, welcome to the muster drill. I'm Scott and I've got a question for you. Is it Carnival's fault or not? Hi everyone, welcome back. I got a question. Is it Carnival's fault or is it the Mobley family's fault that the Mobleys were denied boarding? So I'm sure that by now everyone has heard this story, and if not, then you're about to hear it. So the Mobley family, Matthew Mobley and his two children, his teenage daughter and his 6-year-old son, had booked a cruise from Southern California on the Carnival Panorama. So they took all the precautions. Matt and his daughter were vaccinated, and obviously his 6-year-old son was not. They all got COVID tests, and when they arrived at the port, they were doing their check-in, and they were flagged. So they reported this to a local news station that they were told that they were flagged and that their son needed to be retested. And unfortunately, there was not enough time because they were there checking in and the ship was, going to be leaving very soon. So they were denied boarding. And so they turned to the news stations and, did what some people do in these situations. They, created a stink about it. So they were upset about it. They feel like it was, this was all Carnival's fault and that Carnival owes them something or whatever. So when you look at the details of, what was reported and what was looked at, the family, and I'm quoting here, this is a quote from the paperwork, the family got rapid tests. And this is what I'm always talking about. This is what I've been talking about in previous videos. It is so easy to get this stuff confused. There's different names, different terminologies. The terminologies are evolving. Everything looks very similar. There's not a lot of conversation about what the differences are in these tests. Antigen versus PCR, and even for the home tests, you have two different tests that one is medically supervised, the other isn't. And unfortunately in this day and age when people are faking vaccine cards and things like that, it's not possible for the cruise line or the CDC to accept some random result from a, card that somebody shows up at the port with that says, hey, this was mine. So, it has to be the medically supervised. So in any event, this family showed up and they had basically taken rapid tests. And when you do the research, rapid tests are antigen tests. And since the 6-year-old son is not vaccinated, the unvaccinated, whether you are 65 or 6, you have to have a PCR test. So because it's more accurate, and that takes, up to 72 hours. Now, I have had PCR tests and I got the results back in the same day, but again, it was, not going to happen when they were there getting ready to check in and the ship was going to be sailing, at the most within a couple of hours. So they weren't going to be able to get a PCR test for the son, so they were denied. And the family, is obviously upset about it. Now, listen, I feel really terrible for the family. I do. And, I hate when anybody is denied boarding for any reason other than, if they've been doing something they shouldn't have been doing or acting like an idiot about something. But other than that, I feel terrible. The father, went on the record to say that the son feels terrible about it and the son feels like, it's his fault. And I just can't imagine. As a parent myself, now my children are grown, but when they were little, when stuff, anything happens, breaks your heart, right? And I'm sure that, the dad is very upset about it because of it. But unfortunately, in my opinion, this is not Carnival's fault. This is, and I don't even necessarily think it's the Mobley family's fault either. I think they're a victim of, all of this information out there that, there's all this information, but a lot of it's unclear, so it's like, wow, you think to yourself, well, there's just no information available about this or that. No, we live in information overload time. The problem is that there's so much information, but so much of it, you'd think that with all that information, it would be clear, but it isn't. So the family clearly took antigen tests, which were fine for the father and the teenage daughter because they're vaccinated, but not for the son as unvaccinated. And they do state that it has to be a PCR test, and those PCR tests can be taken 72 hours ahead of time instead of 48. So, we feel really terrible for the Mobley family, but in my opinion, it was not Carnival's fault. So, hopefully they get to go on another cruise at some point, and and that whole experience has not soured them on cruising. So moving on, I wanted to talk about the announcement from Carnival that the Carnival Victory has now been transformed into the Carnival Radiance. This is the third time that Carnival has renovated a ship to the extent that they feel it deserves a new name. So the first time this happened was the Carnival Destiny, which was transformed into the Sunshine and subsequently its own class of ship, the Sunshine class. The second time was the Carnival Triumph into the Carnival Sunrise, and now the Carnival Victory into the Carnival Radiance. So the Carnival Radiance is going to join the Panorama on the West Coast when the renovations are complete and it, does its sailing over from Spain. So that's great news. You had the chance to sail on the Sunshine just after it was, had become the Sunshine, and although it was still a smaller ship, I really enjoyed those, 2.0 updates that, they had done to the Carnival Sunshine. And with the Radiance is actually going to feature their new Shack's Chicken Shack restaurant, which is, definitely an awesome option to have. I frequented the restaurant when I was on the Carnival Mardi Gras. It wasn't the best chicken sandwich or the best chicken strips I ever had, but it was really good, and it was definitely worth more than one visit. So, that's awesome that the Carnival is repurposing these older ships rather than just, throwing them away and replacing them with something new. So, moving on, the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is great news for the restart. Carnival announced that by the end of October, they're going to have just over half of the Carnival fleet sailing. So yay for that. We're really excited about that. That's, just more great news for the restart and for the industry as a whole. And then so across all of the Carnival brands, there's going to be more than 42 ships sailing across, Holland America and Princess and Aida and so on. So that's, again, really great news. It's awesome news for the restart, and we're really excited. So, and speaking of excitement, we're really excited for our upcoming cruise on the Carnival Pride that happens this Sunday, September 26th. Can't wait to get on board. Can't wait to bring you along and bring you videos from the Carnival Pride, as well as our stops at Half Moon and Bimini. So yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you like this video, don't forget to click that like button, and then don't forget to click the subscribe button. It'll really help us out a lot, and it won't cost you anything. You click it once and you're done. And then don't forget to click the notification bell so that you know every time we upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.